welcome to the 80sist, the podcast that uses your votes to determine the most totally 80s song ever to blare from the tinny speakers of a canary yellow Walkman. In the heart of rock and roll, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. It's Keith Marsteller joining you here. And with me, as always, from Seattle, it is the creator of all of this. It's the maker of the 80sist. He's my co-host. He's my friend. It's Joe Walk. Hey, Joe.
Hello, Keith.
Hey, man, are you excited for today's show?
Yeah.
Well, it's our 46th show.
Taint. It's our 45th.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It looks like I read that wrong. Did you say taint?
Yeah. It's the way we folks from Maine say something isn't.
You're from Ohio, man. We talk about it all the time. I literally grew up with you.
Well, that may be so, but I'm a Downeaster at heart.
Okay. All right.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Sorry. So that whole bit is kind of, I was like struggling, and I'm like, oh, taint. We can do something that's based on taint. I didn't want to go with the dirty one. So I'm like, taint.
Now I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
And the people will understand.
Maybe start reading these before.
I love cold reading these. It's just, I don't know how well I did there, but
no, it was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. I really had no idea where that was going, and I'm like,
that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Taint?
People fast forward through this, you know they do.
Yeah, they probably have this on like 2.0 and just
it's like 30-second skip.
Taint.
Just skip. Yep.
Well, today in what actually is our 45th show,
yes.
Welcome back
That's
to
right.
the 80sist, of course. But
welcome back.
Yeah, in our 45th show, I was only pretending to not know what show it was. Right? We will reveal, that was acting. We will reveal all our winners who are going to advance to the Foreigners region second round.
That's without Foreigner.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We gotta be specific, man.
And we will discuss the first two of those second round matchups. So let's get right to it, Joe, and let's jump into the Foreigners
without Foreigner
region bracket, starting with Joe. Take it away.
All right, so in our first round, our number one seed, Take On Me by Aha, kicked the living shit out of Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, 83% to 17%. Dear God, that was lopsided.
Yeah, that was an ass kicking.
Yes.
Still, nothing's as bad as poor Weird Science in the movies region, getting 0% of the popular.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Oof. A little more equitable was our number 8 seed, Safety Dance by Men Without Hats, squeaking past Men at Work with Who Can It Be Now at number 9. That was 55% to 45%, which means our first matchup is Take On Me by Aha against the Safety Dance. Nope, sorry, just Safety Dance. No,
yeah.
By the Men Without Hats. Nope.
Just
sorry, Men Without the Hats.
Be prepared to be haunted by the ghost of our English teacher. I really need to find out if she's still alive. All right. In the next couple matchups, what did we end up with? Well, we had Money for Nothing by Dire Straits against Electric Avenue by Eddy Grant. Now, Money for Nothing had the lead until Eddy Grant experienced a late surge and ended up kicking the ass of Dire Straits. Well, okay, beating them 58.
Thank you. Let's clarify.
58-42 in a matchup that I said, whatever happens, I'll be happy. Eddy Grant moves on to the second round. Now, in the next one after that, it was 4 seed Tainted Love by Soft Cell against 13 seed, woefully underrated, Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. An excellent song, But Soft
Excellent
Cell
song.
Tainted Love decisively beat it down 65-35.
Oof.
And that creates the second matchup we're going to talk about today, and that is 4-seed Tainted Love against 12-seed Electric Avenue. So, down the bracket we go, though, and these will be
Poor
in
Tears of
tomorrow's
Fears.
show.
Right.
So
we had, in the first round, we had number 6, Come On Eileen by Dexys Midnight Runners, taking on number 11 seed, She Blinded Me With Science by one Thomas Dolby, and Mr. Dolby triumphed 58% to 42% to move on to the second round. Meanwhile, in Germany, number 3 seed, 99 Luftballons by Nana, won handily over Falco's Der Kommissar at 14 seed. That was 85% to 15%. That was a German ass kicking.
yeah, it really was.
Right.
So that creates the next round matchup of
She Blinded Me With Science versus 99 Luftballons.
So there you go. So we have 2 upsets already here with Electric Avenue, the 12, and Thomas Dolby Blinded Me With Science, 11.
It's pretty
advancing.
upsetting.
It really is. All right. And then finally, the last matchups, we had number 7, Kids in America by Kim Wilde, taking on number 10, Major Tom Coming Home by Peter Schilling. And it was Kids in America decisively winning 65-35 to advance. And that, again, was a late surge of Kim Wilde voters. A huge block of Kim Wilde voters came in the last 2 days. Wow. And anyway, yeah. Then our final matchup was the 2 seed Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by Eurythmics against Karma Chameleon by Culture Club, our 15. And just given our reaction to it, Dr. Janet's reaction to this, not a huge surprise that Sweet Dreams and Eurythmics have moved on 80-20.
Actually, that 20% was more than I was expecting. So good job for you, Boy George.
So, yeah. So the worst butt kicking was Nana over Falco, but in this one. And the closest was that 55-45, 8-9 safety dance against Who Can It Be Now. But the final matchup is created. It's Kim Wilde against Eurythmics in the second round. And we'll have those last 2 that we just talked about. Those will be in tomorrow's show. And along with today's show, I will post the visual representation of this bracket so that you can see everything that I just said, because a lot of words, a lot of numbers flying by. So
Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Next time, for the third round, can we reverse the colors so that it's all this weird pink color and then it has blue brackets? I'm just throwing that out there.
Wow.
Just like a photo negative of what's there now.
It's possible. I'd have to look in the software I'm using to make these.
All right.
Yeah.
No promises.
No promises, everybody. All right, so that's who's advanced. We're down now to 8 in this region, and we're going to narrow it down to 4 here in the next couple of days. Oof. So,
all right.
2 matchups, and Joe, take us to the first one.
The first matchup is the number 1 seed, heavily favored Take On Me versus plucky upstart number 8, Safety Dance. So we've got Aha going up against Men Without Hats.
So we've got essentially Scandinavia versus Canada here in our Foreigners Without Foreigner region. Now, how did they get here? Well, we just told you. Take On Me beat the shit out of Walking on Sunshine, 83-17, and
the Safety Dance beat Who Can It Be Now in a close match, 55-45.
All right, so, but how did we vote on this? Because I know you guys want to know, do Keith and Joe know what the hell they're talking about? Well, in this case, Joe, we kind of did.
We did, because we both voted for number 1, Take On Me. Not surprising.
Yeah.
And we both voted for number 8, Safety Dance, over Who Can It Be Now.
Hell yeah. Look who knows their music. It's us.
We backed the right horses.
All right, so before we run through any quick arguments and make our verdicts on these, let's play a little bit of each. And here is Take On Me. Wow, what a song. What a song. But
that is a song.
There are a lot of people, myself included, who like this song too. So let's give it a listen. Safety Dance.
We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. See, we can go where we want to, places they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. We can dance.
What do you say?
I remember we had trouble deciding how much of this to play because
That's right.
And I played a different version of this the first time.
You played the lengthy intro.
S.
Oh, yeah.
You can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. I say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking the chance. Safe to dance, oh, it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance.
All right, that'll be probably
that's enough.
People know
We
the song,
get it.
right? I mean, it made it this far. People must know it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
quick
they do.
review. Joe, do you like these songs? Take On Me.
I love Take On Me. I'm human, aren't I?
That's right. I adore Take On Me. I would date Take On Me if it were a woman, for instance. Like
There you go.
I love it. It's a great song.
What about Safety Dance?
Yeah, Safety Dance is fun. Like, I don't have the same affection for it that I do for Take On Me, but it's totally fun. Like, we were both sitting here looking at our hands when he instructed us to do so, right? So
Right.
I assume,
Well, it's important that you do what the singer tells you.
I assume that you also like it.
I like it. I like Safety Dance. I always have.
Yeah, so different degrees, different, like Take On Me is one that I still like to listen to today. Safety Dance, I enjoyed listening to for the purposes of this show, but
Right.
haven't heard it a lot in the past few decades because, we can start talking about our arguments here, I guess.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, is Safety Dance, what did we come down on? Is Safety Dance a novelty song, did we decide? Do you just think it's an unusual song? Is it just
I think it's unusual. I wouldn't call it a novelty.
Okay.
Necessarily. I think the novelty song that we talked about. I think when we definitely said was a novelty song was She Blinded Me with Science.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure. But Safety Dance, it's Canadian.
It's just an unusual song, not necessarily novelty. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you have in your thoughts that maybe something we have now? We're putting these two songs against each other for the first time.
Right.
We've said tons of stuff about both of these songs already.
We have, but I would say that a lot of the points that we made in the original episode for each of these still salient and still kind of what I'm going back to in terms of thinking about which of these is more 80s.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So for Take On Me, it is without a doubt one of the top, at least top 3 all-time 80s videos. Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Money for Nothing was up
1.
there, obviously in the upper echelon, maybe not your top
Thriller,
3.
Stuff
Thriller
that's not in our bracket, like the legend bracket stuff.
Sure.
This is up there with those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Kind of a transcendent video, won every possible award that it could have, got as much play. Is this the one that you played in the food court in the Alliance Mall?
It is.
Yes.
Carnation Mall.
Sorry,
please.
yeah. Carnation Mall in Alliance.
Mall.
Yes.
Right. But like this is so iconic that didn't Trump post like a video of him in this style?
Wow, did he? I didn't
with
see
like
it.
Clowns. For some reason, I'm thinking,
and you're not joking.
No, I'm not. I mean, in the last 8 years,
he posted a rotoscoped video of himself.
Like someone made, because clearly he didn't make it because he can't make shit.
Well, I mean, he's an older man. I wouldn't expect him to be computer literate.
Right. Or
enough to do
literate. Yeah. But like someone sent this to him and he like reposted it, I believe.
And it was him with clowns.
There were clowns for some fucked up weird reason.
Okay, so check it out. The lead singer of Aha is like a character in the comic book, right? And he's looking at the girl, and you see the real life girl on the one side of the window, and then it spins, and then you see the real life him. Is he like him? Is Trump himself, and then it spins, and he's a clown, or is he like talking to a clown?
No. They're like the clowns kind of have the same role as the car race guys.
Okay, gotcha.
I think
so. The clowns are like the bad guys menacing him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's really interesting that this video could stay that relevant to, it did transcend, and people are still making parodies of it, I guess, in 2020.
The song still gets played, like it gets played at ball games. I hear this song fairly frequently. It is, that kind of iconic, I guess.
Now, I'll tell you, one of the things you said in a recent show about if you were doing a time travel movie and you showed up in the 80s, would this be a song that you would play in the background? And I could make the argument that either one of these could be played to set the stage and maybe if your movie is a comedy, the Safety Dance is maybe even a better choice because it's so different, of a song.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
And having
the Safety Dance video is not as
the
iconic.
The Safety Dance video is so weird, right? That's the one with the court jester and the medieval theme for no apparent reason.
Yeah, the weird Ren Fair theme.
So yes, I assume you were being ironic by saying it's not as iconic because nobody knows that video, right?
Oh, I don't. I disagree. I mean, even before researching this, I was like, Safety Dance. Oh yeah, that's the one with the Ren Fair and
so you did know it before.
Absolutely.
That was the first time I had seen it, and I thought, what nonsense is this?
No, it's utter nonsense.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, and I feel like the song itself is kind of a Gen X touchstone, right?
Oh, the song is for sure. Yeah. The video. Okay. I can't make the argument that the video made even a tiny ripple in the pond, whereas like Take on Me was this boulder that dropped in the pond and all the water splashed out and there was no more pond, you know? It made that much of a impact.
Somehow, rotoscope romance adventure comic was a bolder choice than Ren Fair and Let's Get a Little Person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a slightly better choice as it turned out. You know, one of our listeners, and I can't remember which one now. It might have been Denny. It might have been John Booth. But one of them, you know, was like, hey, go check out The Sun, you know, their second hit, which was like The Sun Only Shines on TV or something, you know. And it did chart. But anyway, if you go watch that video, it kind of starts off with the girl from Take On Me, like it's almost like a continuation of that video, but then it goes its own way. And I was like, how did I not know this existed all this time? But just
I didn't know until right now.
Well, there you go. So that's something for the listeners to go check into. What Sun Always Shines on TV? I'm embarrassed that I don't even know the title of it, but
Denny's going to be pissed.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing I have, is they both sonically have a lot of the things we look for. You know, they're both real synthy.
Yeah.
For me, the very existence of the No Friends of Mine recording, the cover.
We played that in an earlier show, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge strike against Safety Dance.
It's like that huge, disappointing, slow ballad version of it.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't happen in the 80s, but I see, like, if you're just looking for something to differentiate,
just looking for something.
And, like, when Aha did their slow ballady take on Take On Me, it ended up being, like, moving and haunting and getting a billion views on YouTube. You know?
Because it's a song that lends itself to that.
Yeah.
You can understand why they did that. Safety Dance, there's no reason. No reason.
You know, when I'm taking these two songs apart, like there's something about the vocals of Safety Dance that is...
As we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind.
You know, it's like that's maybe something that can only exist in the 80s, like that kind of vocal. Whereas, you know,
I can see that.
The Aha guy is much more like... he has a more melodic kind of sound and approach that might be more timeless. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of looking for little tiny places to try to give people points. And Aha has already won on the kind of video front by a large margin. But there's something super 80s about each of these songs. The question is Safety Dance up to the task of taking down number one seed Take On Me? Do you have any further things to say, or do you want to just jump in and...
I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm more torn up by this one than I thought I would be because, again, I take a few minutes before these shows and listen and try to divorce myself from the fact that I really love Take On Me more as a song and try to decide, like, which one is more 80s. And this comes out really close for me when you only think of that.
Absolutely.
But in the end, I think the existence of that iconic video pushes what might have been a tie on the song quality and all the synth and all. I think Take On Me is what I'm going to have to vote for here, just because of that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm very similar. I think Safety Dance is really incredibly 80s. I have, I have so much fondness for it, and again, it was something I listened to a lot.
Yeah.
In the 80s
back then, for sure. Yeah.
But I think if you were to go up to 10 people on the street and ask them which of these songs is more important to the 80s, I guess.
Sure.
I think Take On Me would definitely get the votes. And I don't disagree with that. So I'm going to vote for Take On Me.
All right. Well, this was one of those matchups where I was like, man, why couldn't these two songs have been in different brackets and not run into each other this early?
Yep.
But that's going to happen a lot. That's going to happen a lot.
Part.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot from here on out. You know, where we're gonna like both of them several times probably, and have to make these choices.
It might even happen again in this very show.
On this show. All right, so that is officially. I'm saying this for myself. For when I go back to check on how we voted, that is 2 votes for Take On Me. So
that's right.
All right, Joe, let's hit the second matchup. What do we got?
All right. Our second match is number 4 seed, Tainted Love by Soft Cell, going up against Eddy Grant and number 12 seed, Electric Avenue.
All right, we'll real quickly review how they got here, even though we told you 20 minutes ago. Here are the numbers. Tainted Love dominated Everybody Wants to Rule the World, 65-35. It's just about 80s-ness, though, Joe. Everybody Wants to Rule the World is by far a better song.
Absolutely.
But and then what else?
Then also Electric Avenue slipped by in a late surge over Dire Straits' Money for Nothing, winning 58% to 42%. Sorry, Mark Knopfler. Terribly sorry.
And Sting, because, man,
And Sting.
I voted, well, we'll find out. How did we end up voting for this, Joe?
Well, glad you asked. We both actually voted for Electric Avenue. Both of us. Even though we both like Money for Nothing quite a bit.
Yeah. And after we did that, there were a ton, because, Joe, we didn't get to talk about this after it happened, but we put Night Ranger out there, a rock song, and it got annihilated. And we got annihilated for even putting it in the bracket. And I thought, well, here's another rock song. We're going to get our asses handed to us again. And the comments were, the folks who comment were just overwhelming amounts of love for Money for Nothing and for Dire Straits. Yeah. Which I was pleasantly surprised by. I thought we were going to get another, hey, get that butt rock out of here kind of thing. And,
no, but it's not butt rock.
Right. Well, for me, I figure any rock that I like, most people are going to think it's kind of garbage. So, so there you go. Anyway, I thought it was, given the great reasoning people were giving me, I was like, all right, it's fine. Money for Nothing will win, and that'll be great. And then, and it was for a long time, and then, landslide.
And then the Russians hacked our voting system, and Eddy Grant won.
And meanwhile, in the other matchup, I voted for Tainted Love, and you voted for Everybody Wants to Rule the World. So,
yes, I did.
We did okay today, though. In the 8 votes that we put out there, 7 of our votes were correct. Like, ended up being for the winning songs. So, all right. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say it's just my love for Everybody Wants to Rule the World that messed it up for us. So, sorry.
Yeah, well, Oh, wait, we're not playing this song. It lost. But instead...
Sorry. I'll play it later on my own.
Okay. Instead, we'll play a little bit of Tainted Love. Wow. Out of the gate with that laser sound.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my light, for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you.
So that's
Oof,
a good...
that love is tainted.
Woof. And there, dear listeners, is where that whole taint bit came from in the beginning of the show. For those of you whose head it flew right over, that's what we were going for there. All right, and now...
because people from New England say it ain't, but they say
taint.
Ain't.
Taint.
Ain't.
Right. It's I lived up there for a few years in Boston. And,
there you go.
Yeah. You know.
Probably heard that on a daily basis.
That and Wicked and Wicked Pissa and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway. Here's some Electric Avenue, though. Eddy Grant vying to stay in the tournament. Oh, yeah. Another taste of Electric Avenue. We talked about both these songs quite a bit in the past. Joe, what do you think about Tainted Love?
I tainted love it. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's one of those, God, you play it and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that era. And you just kind of get into it. Yeah, I was rocking out here with you. We were both getting really into it. So, I
think so. What about Electric Avenue?
Electric Avenue, I goddamn love it. Absolutely. Cannot get enough of it, and we'll talk about it a little more.
Yep.
And you?
I feel exactly the same. I love it. So that's a great tune.
If I could, and this doesn't matter 80s-wise, if you could only listen to one of them.
Electric Avenue.
All right. I'm kind of in agreement with you. Yeah. So we both like Electric Avenue a little bit more, but we both also really like Tainted Love. So
that's right.
Which one is more 80s?
All right. Well, let's get into it then.
Yeah. First of all, man, they both come hard with that synth. That is one of the things that I prize when we're talking about what's 80s is to me. It's not a requirement, of course, but it's how some of these songs got here, right? So...
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Tainted Love, it hits all of our Brit synth pop check marks.
Yes,
all of them.
Totally.
And synth out the ass. It's got the vocals that are that that fit right in with our stereotypical British second wave invasion, etc.
Right.
Stuff. And
it's often an incredibly named album. Non-stop erotic cabaret, I believe what it was.
Yes, that's the one.
And their other second release of Sex Dwarf, not as good.
Which maybe that's some points off just for the existence of Sex Dwarf.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fact that all they hit with was a couple of covers, or this cover, Tainted Love. Might, if you're looking for little tiny things to ding people on, I guess you've got Eddy Grant cranking out original music.
That's true.
But, I don't want to be a hypocrite. There's other covers that I'm going to rate highly, so I don't know.
That's true. I mean, I find it hard to take a lot of points off for that when they so made this fit the era. Yeah,
they heavily renovated the song for the.
That's right. Yeah. They tore it down to the studs, essentially,
keeping the basic melody and some of the words, and everything else got. I mean, that beginning with that, just like laser. So crazy, so good.
It's super synthy. So, all right, how are we feeling about this? Are batshit crazy videos 80s? Is that an 80s thing to have
Well,
batshit crazy
I
video?
wouldn't have known the answer to that until we started doing this podcast, right? Because I barely saw any of the 80s videos.
Right.
But then once we started watching them, I'm like, we've both come across that trope of like, let's just empty out the costume drawer, right? Like,
yeah.
weird stuff. But Eddie Grant's video, while not emptying the costume drawer, is really weird and random also.
Yes, I agree. But is it as weird as two batshit crazy videos that just make no sense?
Oh, that's right, because this was the song that had two different videos. One with the guy sleeping and all the
and
things
then one
visited
with the
him
Roman
in his sleep.
theme.
And the one with the Roman guy screaming at a child. Like scream singing the lyrics to Tainted Love at a little girl who seemed to be okay with it.
Did not care that he was in her face.
While a cricketer watches on from the side. Very weird. So that might be, if we're saying that random shit in videos is very 80s, then I guess that is a check mark in Tainted Love's favor. Then I guess, yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I gotta say,
Yeah.
Electric Avenue, 1982.
Yeah.
And so that's a long fucking time ago. That's 42 years.
42 years, yeah.
And yet that song and pieces of it have been firmly lodged in my head the entire time.
I know exactly what part you like to talk about.
Electric Avenue.
Rocket in Miami for
line.
Mommy is so great, right? But I mean, this very beginning with the and him yelling, like, and just, oh man, I love the tone of his voice so much, like the texture of it and like what he does with it.
He's got a great voice.
But yeah, dude, they're both packed with all kinds of electronic kind of noises and sounds and like non-percussion percussion things like the lasers in the other song, and in Eddie Grant's it's like it's kind of the beat of that riff, and this is tight for me.
This is a tougher matchup than a 4 versus 12 ought to be. It really is.
Right. And it's, when you win in the first round as a 12 seed, usually in the basketball tournament, you get woken up rudely in the second round by the juggernaut that waits for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But every
absolutely.
now and then there is a Cinderella who rises up. And
is Eddie Grant Cinderella? Is that what
Eddie
you're saying?
Grant, that's Cinderella. Not the 80s group Cinderella, who you might know, Joe. Do you know Cinderella, the artist?
I know Cinderella, although at this exact moment, could not name one of their songs. Don't want to hear. Oh, there we go.
They sound like kind of this. It's almost like he's a garbage disposal trying to sing. Like, listen to this part. It's kind of the very worst of what hair metal had to offer us.
It sounds to me like Scooter from the Muppets doing a hard rock song.
Here's your anyway, I don't know how we got into Cinderella. Sorry. Oh, because Eddie Grant might be a Cinderella.
Yeah,
Not to be confused.
I blame you for that digression entirely.
I apologize to all fans of Cinderella for shitting on your hairband.
No,
I'm a hair metal.
That.
I'm a hair metal guy, so I'm not. But Cinderella was not my favorite of the hair metal by a long shot. But anyway.
Getting back to the topic at hand.
How do I choose who to vote for here? Experientially, how do these hit you? Like, our pal Denny would be like, well, I danced to Tainted Love a ton at the clubs. We didn't have clubs. We weren't going out. We went out to high school dances that I was DJing.
Yeah.
And that was mostly in the side B era. But some of
Right.
the side A songs would get played, obviously.
Well, experientially, it's my early '80s HBO versus your slightly later radio.
Yeah.
Is where we're getting the experiential stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I think probably Electric Avenue hit me harder because it came a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And Tainted Love, I heard a lot more after.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean they're both they both have a place in my mental jukebox. The only other thing I have on either of these is that I totally forgot that Eddy Grant recorded the title song from the movie Romancing the Stone.
What's the name of that song?
Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone, the movie main theme, you're saying?
Not the movie main theme. No, he recorded a song called Romancing the Stone that didn't end up getting used in the movie except for like a couple of seconds, maybe during the closing credits. It's I'm romancing the stone, never leaving your poor heart alone. Something like that.
Let's see if this is it. Is this it? All right, I'll fast forward. Nice. I don't know this song. Oh, wow. Do you know this is billed as double trouble? Double is spelled like bubble.
I did not know that.
Because it's actually Eddy Grant and Bob Marley.
Oh, shit.
So I'm not sure that I really love this song, Joe.
No, I don't either. This is clearly a cash grab.
But anyway, there you go. I did manage to pull it up, even though it's not listed under Eddy Grant. It's listed under Double Trouble. And trouble and double are both spelled like bubble.
Because neither Eddy Grant nor Bob Marley wanted their name on it?
Perhaps not. Yeah, only when you bring up the album art do you see Eddy Grant and Bob Marley.
Got it.
And technically it says Eddy Grant versus Bob Marley on the cover, which is kind of a strange thing. I don't know.
Okay. It was a very contentious recording session.
I'm Romancing the Stone. I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Never heard that song. But Romancing the Stone is definitely very 80s.
Pretty 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
dude,
all right,
I'm at this point in the show and I don't know what I'm about to say to vote for. What about you?
This is one of those where I'm just kind of have to close my. This is like I'm looking at a menu with two things I really want to eat.
Yeah.
And I just have to kind of just close my eyes and let it come out.
Okay.
All right.
I believe I went first for Take On Me. So I will ask you to reciprocate for this choice.
All right. I'm gonna. All right.
There's no wrong answer here, Joe. There really is.
There isn't. They are both incredibly 80s. Because experientially, it was more formative to me. I'm going Electric Avenue.
Okay, and I can't believe I'm doing it. I am divorcing myself from my love for Electric Avenue and taking the crazy 80s synth-tacular, ridiculous videos. I'm going Tainted Love.
All right, I respect that.
Yikes. Well, that was unexpected because going in, I was like, all right, Electric Avenue. But I don't know, listening to it again, talking about it.
I would be really surprised if the majority of our listenership didn't vote with you on this.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it is.
We'll see.
We got the 4 and the 12. Will
right.
Eddy go on? I mean, if he does go on to win it, man, am I going to be happy about that? But
absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
I guess what we'll see, and we'll see when people vote, and people will vote when they go to our Substack, which is the 80sist.substack.com. They can find us on Facebook, the 80sist podcast. We're on Threads at the _80s_est, or we can be emailed the80sist@gmail.com.
Guys, we're available on all the podcast platforms. If you're listening on a browser, hey, you could be listening on your phone in the store on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify.
Yeah, do that instead. It's better.
Yeah, do it on Spotify. Just search for the 80s-est. You'll find us. You'll find our region playlists.
So well put together.
They're out there on Spotify. Go listen. You can listen to the songs back to back and decide for yourself if these snippets weren't enough. Because
They're not.
They're not. There's tons of needle drops.
Yeah, no, they just leave us hungry for more.
Yeah, so go listen to the whole songs before you make your decisions.
For God's sake, like us and subscribe to our podcast.
That's right. It will help more people. The more people like this, the more the algorithm goes, the more people then see it subsequently. So if you care about humanity and you want other people to be happy, then you'll like the podcast so that you can make others happy. Not us.
Listen, we're at a moment of joy in America right now. Coming off our Olympic high.
Yeah.
With our Democratic ticket. We're all about joy. Spread the joy.
Spread the joy. And so with that, Joe, I guess that's going to be all for today's show, but I will invite you all to rejoin us next time on the 80sist when we will hit the final 2 matchups in the Foreigners
without foreigner
region. And those 2 matchups are, as announced above, number 3, 99 Luftballons versus number 11, She Blinded Me with Science.
And number 2, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This versus number 7, Kids in America.
Awesome. Well, until that time that we meet again, on behalf of Joe, this has been Keith saying, move over, Joseph.
Move where now?
Look, now there's something meatier, so step off.
I mean, you know, I'm vegetarian, so I mean, everything is meatier than I am. But if you're comparing me to Sizzline, well, that product is about as real as Ray Parker Jr.'s authorship of Ghostbusters.
Look, don't fuck with me, man. Sizzline has no soy, no fillers. It's not fake bacon. It's meat.
Yeah, no, but what kind of meat? I mean, condor breast? White liver rhino? Lion testicle? If you're paying attention, you notice the company never goes to great lengths to never say what it truly is.
Don't say what it is, man. What kind of meat is it? It's real meat. You protein-denying douche nozzle.
Sizzline is people! It's people!
Move over, bacon. Now there's something meatier. Delicious Sizzline.
Fake bacon?
Mom's Sizzline is real meat.
No soy, no fillers?
Sizzline is real meat. A lot more meat to eat in every package because it's 50% leaner than bacon.
Delicious.
Move over, bacon. Now there's something meatier.
Delicious real meat, Sizzline.
Sizzline for breakfast.
It's people!
Real meat!